Hey, what's up everybody and welcome back to News Dose. And did the essence of E3 come a little bit early this year? Because a couple major games was just revealed today. Of course, one of those is none other than the much anticipated Mortal Kombat. We did finally get some official details on that next installment, but also another AAA game was unveiled, and that one seems to be gaining some traction online thanks to its gameplay and overall impressive visuals powered by Unreal Engine 5. So we will talk about both of those today, but then also Xbox. They made yet another move to apply further pressure on regulators like the FTC and the CMA for all of the hubbub that they've made about cloud gaming out of all things, and how the Activision acquisition could possibly be anti-competitive. Well, Microsoft is moving around the board as if it's a game of chess. They keep trying to stay one step ahead, and that's been further cemented today as this strengthens their case with any kind of legal battle or appeal that could come their way. As always, though, do hit those buttons below, like, subscribe, and ring that bell. That way you can get your daily game news dose. But with that said, you know it. Let's just go and jump right into it, starting off with Xbox Game Pass. I mean, I already thought its second wave of May games was good with 6 different day one titles, several of which do look quite interesting, especially Cassette Beast and Planet of Lana. We did talk about this a few days back, but apparently they weren't quite finished there because they just dropped a surprise day one release, being Superland 6 Inches Under. It is available today. So you don't even have to wait for this one. You can go out and play it right now, and this is actually a good game. Been available on PC for about a year now, but it is now heading over to consoles like PlayStation and Xbox. It is a first-person puzzle exploration game inspired by the likes of Zelda, Metroid, and then also Portal. Yeah, quite the pedigree there, but fans do absolutely love this game. 6 Inches Under is described as Superland 1.5. The original game was also in Game Pass there for a while, so you might have already played it. But 6 Inches Under was originally developed as an expansion, and then basically turned into a sequel, more or less. To just kind of put things into perspective here, though, 97% of all Steam reviews recommends 6 Inches Under. And then as for the original game, that did get an 85 overall score on Metacritic. So yeah, there's a reason that these games are viewed as some of the best hidden gems available. So maybe go ahead and give Superland 6 Inches Under a try now that it's available to Xbox Game Pass subscribers as of today. Gotta absolutely love it, but do keep in mind that it also released on PlayStation as well. Oh, and Blizzard is being hit by some backlash online as they just announced they decided to cancel Overwatch 2's PvE hero mode. Now, this is actually kind of a weird situation because a large part to justify Overwatch 2 being a direct sequel rather than just, some kind of major patch or something like that was the addition of PvE hero mode. But instead, it's apparently being canceled. So some fans are a little bit bewildered by Blizzard's approach to all this, and this honestly has been going on for a while now. Overwatch 2 has run into a few different controversies since it first launched. Not all fans have necessarily been thrilled with their approach to seasonal content, and the price is attached to it, and now on top of that, you can just kind of add this to the list. Now, to be fair though, while they are canceling this specific game mode, Blizzard did respond to the online backlash by saying, "A clarification that I wanted to make is that while we made the decision to cut Hero Mode Plus talents, we have a lot of great PvE content coming this year. Big story missions, new cinematics, cooperative events, and single-player hero mastery missions are all on the way." So, I mean, at the very least, for those fans that do want that PvE content, they do still have some different stuff planned. It might not exactly be as previously hoped, and the scope might not be necessarily as grand, but knowing that there's still story missions coming and things like that, maybe that will lessen the blow a little bit here. I don't know, though. I used to play Overwatch all the time. My wife, actually, she still plays it. She loves Overwatch. But it just feels like Overwatch 2 isn't exactly the comeback that I think a lot of fans were hoping for. To me, that first game was just so refreshing. And, it kind of set trends, whereas I think with Overwatch 2, I mean, to be fair, I still think this is a great game, but it almost feels like they're maybe following trends instead. Now, maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe you feel different, but let me know what you all think about Overwatch 2 and the direction that they're currently going in. Are you happy with it or not? Let me know. Moving on, though, let's go and talk about these big game announcements because it feels like the essence of E3 got here a little bit early this year. We don't need no showcases, apparently, as NetherRealm Studios just revealed the next installment to the long-running Mortal Kombat series, and it is, in fact, as speculated, a soft reboot of the franchise titled Mortal Kombat 1. Now, if you played the previous game, you'll probably understand how the universe got reset, but this also allows for some major changes to both the gameplay department and then also how the characters are designed. This gives them a little bit more freedom to change things up in that Mortal Kombat universe, and we did see a little bit of that in this trailer. Now, this was more of a cinematic reveal, and I am going to edit this because its brutality was quite graphic. The fatalities are gruesome. But if you want to check out the full trailer, I will drop a link below. The visuals are realistically impressive, but we've already gotten our first look at a younger, more normal Scorpion and Sub-Zero. Mileena was there was Katana, Liu Kang, Shang Tsung, you had Raiden, and then also Johnny Cage. So we already got some key roster confirmations here, several fan favorites, but better yet, they also confirmed that Mortal Kombat 1 will have Rollback Netcode. I think that there is actually the best part about this reveal, because this is huge for its competitive multiplayer, as it should theoretically allow for a more stable online connection where you'll actually be able to fight your opponents rather than, the laggy mess that we've seen so often in past fighting games. Once again, the fighting game community is living the dream right now. There's a lot to look forward to, whether that be with Street Fighter 6, Tekken 8, and now with Mortal Kombat 1. Now, as for the gameplay, though, we do know that it'll have a new fighting system, but as of right now, we'll need to wait for a more in-depth gameplay look a little bit later on. With that said, even though they announced Mortal Kombat 1 a little early here, I do imagine that we'll see gameplay rather soon at maybe some of these different upcoming showcases. There's a lot of possibilities with all that. And the reason I say that is because its launch isn't that far away. It is now officially set for a September 19th release for the PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series, PC, and interestingly enough, also the Nintendo Switch. I mean, this doesn't even include an Xbox One and PlayStation 4 version, but here you have the Switch, interestingly enough. That is a little bit of a surprise, I'd say, but it's also nice to see Nintendo included here. If you can't wait for September 19th, though, if you go ahead and pre-order it, you'll also get Shang Tsung and access to its early beta, which will take place this August, one full month ahead of its release. So, there you go. Mortal Kombat is back this year. Now, that wasn't the only exciting reveal today, though, as Lords of the Fallen also made its debut with a rather lengthy gameplay trailer showcasing its brutal Souls-like combat and its rather impressive visuals powered by Unreal Engine 5. Now, you can clearly see the Dark Souls inspiration here, maybe a little Bloodborne as well with its dash mechanics, but if you do like Souls-like games, Lords of the Fallen seems to, have some potential here. I'd say if anything else, this is an intriguing gameplay debut. Now, if the name of this game sounds familiar to you, though, that's for good reason, because this is technically a reboot of a 2014 title under the same name, but instead it's being developed by a different studio, being Hexworks. The original was developed by Deck 13. It also drew a lot of attention online back then, but it just never really met those expectations. The publisher CI Games, though, they still seem to have a lot of confidence in this IP, hence the spiritual successor under a different developer nearly 10 years later. Hopefully this time, though, it turns out to be as good as it looks when it releases later this year on October 13th for the Xbox Series, the PlayStation 5, and then also PC. Okay, so let's go and talk about the latest on the Xbox situation as they try to corner these different regulators and to strengthen their overall case to buy Activision Blizzard. The main concern that these regulators have brought forth about this buyout is cloud gaming, out of all things. I personally find that to be crazy, considering how small this market is and the fact that there's no guarantee of future success. But here we are. The CMA and the FTC are trying to block the buyout for quote-unquote concerns of cloud gaming. Well, Microsoft has tried to get ahead of this by signing different contracts with cloud-based providers such as Boosteroid, Ubitus, and most importantly, Nvidia Geforce Now, which is one of the most successful cloud gaming providers as of this moment. So Microsoft is saying, hey, we'll release not only Xbox PC games on these services, but we'll also bring over Activision Blizzard games once the acquisition goes through. So in that situation, Microsoft won't be the only ones to benefit from this acquisition. All of these other cloud game providers will as well. And theoretically, that should end the debate for that cloud gaming market concerns. Contracts are one thing, though. actions, however, are a little bit different. And, well, about that, Microsoft is once again being proactive here as they just announced that starting today, Xbox will debut their PC games to Nvidia Geforce Now members. You can see here their statement says, "We're thrilled to share that starting today, Nvidia Geforce Now cloud gaming members in the UK, the United States, the European Union, and around the world can stream Gears 5, and on May 25th will be able to enjoy fan favorites Deathloop, Grounded, and Pentiment. This is just the beginning stage of our forward-thinking 10-year partnership with Nvidia to make PC games from Xbox Game Studios and Bethesda available to their GeForce Now members. Together, we're accelerating access to players around the globe by letting them choose how and when they game." Now, it is important to note that you will still have to buy these games, but one really cool part about this is that it's not exclusive to their storefront. They continued on to say that members will be able to stream PC hits from Xbox Game Studios and Bethesda purchased through Steam or Epic Games Store for eligible games on PC, Mac, Shield TV, and Android devices, or by visiting play.geforcenow.com on Chromebook and iOS Safari. Our teams are also working to bring support for games purchased through the Microsoft Store in the coming months. So once again, several storefronts will benefit from this announcement, and in fact, even before Microsoft themselves do. That was another concern brought forth by the CMA, that Microsoft could benefit from PC releases being exclusive to their storefronts and things like that. Instead, though, that's not what we're seeing here, because Microsoft is giving them absolutely no room to debate this. This is now real. This is not just a contract, but rather they have tangible proof that they are supporting other cloud-based providers, and this does in fact strengthen their case against both the FTC and the CMA. So Microsoft really is just covering all grounds here, and gamers worldwide, they're the ones benefiting from this, and that's the most important thing. At the end of the day, though, despite what the FTC and the CMA says, Microsoft is doing just as they claimed. They're giving more options to play their games. And it's very hard to argue that that is somehow anti-competitive or anti-consumer. Let's go take a look at the poll of the day, though. We're asked you all, what rumored first-party PlayStation game do you most hope to see at the PlayStation Showcase next week? And as you can see here, the majority of you all want Ghost of Tsushima 2, with 38% of you voting for that. Then 30% of you all voted for Bloodborne, 16% of you all voted for new Uncharted, 4% for the Horizon MMO, and then 11% voted for other. Now, looking through the comments, I saw Sly Cooper mentioned, Little Big Planet, Days Gone 2, another Jack and Daxter game, among several others. Now, a lot of those kind of seem like hopes more than anything else, as these aren't currently rumored as far as I'm aware, but hey, I mean, if we get any of those announcements, I'm good with that, especially a new Sly Cooper or a new Jack and Daxter game. I think we've kind of waited long enough to get new entries for those franchises. Nonetheless, though, Ghost of Tsushima 2 has once again proven to be a fan favorite. A lot of you do want that sequel, as you can see here. And I mean, the good news is that based on job descriptions that we've seen, it does sound like a sequel is happening. The only thing is, I'm not sure if it'll necessarily be ready for a full-blown reveal. I imagine its release is still a few years out, so it's hard to tell if they will reveal it this early. But one thing that they could do, and one thing that I could see them doing, is just confirming its existence with some kind of teaser. I think that alone would absolutely thrill fans, especially seeing the results here. I think for me, though, and you all probably know what I'm going to say here, I'm hoping for another Uncharted game. That is one of my absolute favorite franchises of all time, so I'd love to see that game return, but hey, I'd also be good with a Bloodborne remaster. I mean, how this hasn't already happened is beyond me, but if either one of those games gets announced next week, you can count me as a very, very happy fan. Anyways, that's it for this episode, but if you liked the video, don't forget to hit the bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Also, if you'd like to support the channel through Patreon, thank you for making this content possible. Peace out.